All right, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. My name's Jesse, and we are here in the off-week garage. As you can see, things are looking a little bit different today. We've got no bikes lined up here, we've got the workbench all torn out, and everything is a mess. That's because we are completely renovating the shop. This is a long overdue upgrade. I have lived here for almost 10 years now, and I've been able to make slight improvements here and there over the last few years. But once I started filming for YouTube, it became clear to me that this space needed a major overhaul, not just to be aesthetically pleasing on camera for you guys, but also for my own personal comfort if I'm gonna be spending so much time out here filming. So I started a little bit over a week ago, which is why I wasn't able to get a video out to you guys last week, but I have already made some major improvements and I'm ready to share them with you guys today. Along with that, we are going to do some work together, and then hopefully tomorrow Dan can come out and we can do some even more quick work with some help and really make some good changes and progress. And then you guys will see the video on Thursday. So along with that, I want to share the history of the shop because, as I said, I've lived here for almost 10 years now, and it started out a lot different than what it is now. I know it doesn't look like much, but knowing where it came from and where it's about to be, hopefully you guys can enjoy that process. I know that the focal point of the channel has always been the bikes, but we spend every video in the shop pretty much. So why not make it nice and why not talk about it? So hopefully you guys enjoy that aspect of it. And then just to make this video a little spicy, I'm gonna sprinkle in some of my own personal history with the shop. I've had a lot of injuries over the years in sports and whatnot, broken bones, surgeries, things of the sort. But one of my worst injuries that I have ever dealt with happened right here in this shop, right here. So I figure why not share that story with you guys and show you some gruesome images, because honestly, all I got out of all of that pain and suffering is a good story. So I'm gonna share it with you guys. Hopefully YouTube doesn't demonetize the video due to the images or give me some sort of a strike. But if they do, it is what it is. I like to get personal with you guys every once in a while and kind of build our relationship even more through that. So I'm gonna show you guys that. Obviously, before I show you, I'll give you a warning to look away if you want, because it is pretty gruesome. So I think that's all gonna come together and make this a good video. Let's get it rolling. All right, so to kick things off, let's talk about the loft area. It has always kind of been a disaster, just a catch-all for just putting stuff, and that was that. I have completely organized it. The snowboards aren't normally there, but they were mounted on the wall and I had to get them out of there. So they're up there right now, but it's completely organized up there, and I built out the tote storage, really nice, easy access, slide them out, drop spare parts in them, grab Christmas stuff, whatever it is. That stuff is just nicely organized now. I had 6 totes stacked up behind the boat, which had it looking like a complete mess. Now I've got it nicely organized, got the dirt bike under there, so now it doesn't have to be over here. I got easy access to my generator now. The other day we had over 70-mile-an-hour winds, trees going down everywhere. We were checking out the Goonies house in Astoria, Oregon, and we're coming back on the 101 and my BMW, which is like 4 inches off the ground. And we've got trees down and limbs, and I mean, we had to go alternate routes. It took us like 6 hours to get home because I had to backtrack and everything. So, and then come home and the power's out, and then I can't get the generator out because everything's in the way. And anyways, now I have access to all that. So that's nice to have that all neat down here and in the background. The major upgrade has been just off camera over here. And it's going to eventually obviously be the entire shop. But yeah, I can't wait to show you guys that. This is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. You guys may not realize it, but all these walls that are painted white, this is all just 2-inch foam board insulation. So we're gonna talk about the design of the building and whatnot, and I'll get into all of that. Honestly, it's really cold, so let's start with making a fire. All right, now that we have a fire going, should be warm in about half an hour. Let's talk about how this building started out its life and its design. So originally this was a pole style carport with no slab, no electricity, and the wall stopped about 1.5 feet before the ground. My dad and I built upon that to what you see here today. And it's been a work in progress, and it still is that. Mistakes have been made along the way, and that's just a part of it. Building upon a building that was already in place always brings about its own unique challenges, right? Nothing straight. You're going off of somebody else's design, and you make the best of it. So that's what we're doing here. So started out, needed some light in here. So we had a 60 amp service put in, runs from the house panel. Luckily there was room in that panel to do that. Runs over to here, got a breaker for outlets, got a breaker for lighting, and we've got 220 for the welder, compressor, and the ability to backfeed my generator to the panel in here and then to the house panel. That's really nice because when the power goes out, it feeds this panel first, so I can actually work out here if the power's out, so that's nice. So once we had the electricity tackled, obviously I ran lighting, and yeah, it's all 12-2 wiring, simple stuff, all to code, all done by a professional, licensed, obviously. And yeah, so that's that. From there, pouring a slab was going to be the next big challenge. Making a form around an existing building is already kind of a pain in the butt, but we did our best. Unfortunately, the form did run just outside the carport walls, meaning that when rain hits the exterior metal wall, it runs down it onto the edge of the slab and therefore saturates the edges of the concrete slab, which obviously is, no bueno. And then along with that, sometimes a little bit of water comes in. So that's something that I need to address. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do that this winter. That's probably going to be a next summer thing, but it's on my radar. So there's that. Along with that, we built this form out into 3 sections, ordered 3 trucks. They were supposed to come like an hour and a half apart each throughout the day, giving us time to have a section poured, screed it out, do a good job, move on to the next one. And it was supposed to come pretty wet. And unfortunately it showed up dry as hell, and all 3 trucks showed up within a half hour of each other. So like when the first one pulled in before we even had the chute run to the first form, the second one was backing in going, what's going on? So we got royally there, and we were undermanned and overwhelmed. So the slab turned out like it did. There are high and low spots, which you'll see when you see the wall. It's made it hard to put anything on it, even this lift, it was hard to find flat spots. I've had to shim up under the workbench, shim up under shelving, stuff like that. You can't really roll anything across it too well. So it's its own unique challenge, but it's something that I've dealt with, and I'm thankful to have this shop space at all. So no complaints here. It's just something that we can improve upon, right? So eventually I want to have a skim coat put in, probably 2-3 inches, reform up around it, do that, and then fix those outer walls. So that'll either be a this winter or a coming summer thing, probably a coming summer or like spring, because I can pull everything out and have the boat out and the elements, and it's not a problem. So that's a future thing on my radar as well. Moving on to the interior of this building. This is a pole style building, as I mentioned, which is different than a conventional style building. Your conventional building, you would frame up the walls, stand them up, tie it together with your roof trusses, and you now have a building, right? With a pole building, you actually cement in posts around the exterior. That's going to be your exterior walls, right? And then you run horizontal beams all the way around, and that's your structure. From there, you attach your exterior material, whether it would be wood or metal in this case, and that's your building. That's great until you want interior walls, because unfortunately, you have no ability to attach anything to the walls with that building design. So from there, you would have to frame up your own walls, just like you would have with a conventional building anyway, stand them up and furnish it out. So I'm no building, design engineer or anything like that, but I would assume the reasons that people choose to do a pole style building is it's cheaper in materials and it's cheaper in labor. You use less material if you're just building an exterior building, and then obviously you need less labor. Like you could plant those posts and run those horizontal beams yourself. Like, yeah, when you get to the roof, stuff like that, you probably need some help, but the majority of it you could do yourself. Whereas standing up a wall in a conventional style building, once you have like 10 16 on center studs, if they're like 12 footers, good luck standing those up yourself. I can do about 10 if they're 12 foot. After that, I need some help. So that is probably, in my opinion, the advantages to a pole style building. There are disadvantages. like you can't attach anything to the inside of it, right? So you may be wondering what the shop walls are lined with, since you're not seeing those beams horizontally run around the outsides of the posts that I was talking about for a pole style building. What we've got here is 2-inch foam board insulation painted white and screwed into anything that we could find on the other side of it. So one week when I was at work, my dad put all this stuff in. I think he got it for free or maybe for a good deal. So that's what he ran with. It is 2-inch thick, and that provides a great deal of insulation, keeps a lot of heat in, and it keeps all the heat out, which is really nice as well. One summer I had it out from the ceiling while I was replacing some of the beams up there, and it was hotter than hell in here. So it does do its job, but it is a pain to work with for a couple of reasons. One of which being it's 2 inches thick. Your average lumber that you're gonna use, like a 2x4, is 1.5 inches thick. So you have to space stuff out to work with it, which is not ideal. It makes your life a lot harder in that aspect. It's also easy that you can just like score it and snap it, but you have to measure everything perfectly, and nothing is straight, right? You have like a stud that's bowed, and now when you put it in, even though your top, middle, and bottom measurements were good, there's gaps. Then I spray foam around the gaps because I'm OCD like that. And you know, spray foam cans are like $6 a pop. So it just adds up quick in terms of the amount of time and effort that you have to use with this product versus something like a fiberglass roll of R13 or R19 or whatever. So there is that, but again, I am so thankful to have it at all. So no complaints here, just something that we can improve upon. But I am reusing this stuff. I'm just cutting it and putting it in place in between the actual horizontal studs. Again, you'll see that in the couple of pictures that I did take when I started this process. And then I did spray foam around all those gaps, try to get it as airtight as I could. So that's what we have for the walls. And obviously with that just being foam board currently, you can't screw anything to it. I have like my flag up there, and you know, I had the Saddleman up there and stuff, but there's just nothing to attach to. So basically your interior walls are kind of just useless. And if you bang on it, obviously the whole building just freaking rattles because it's just not structurally that sound. So that's something that I've always wanted to improve upon, and that is what I have started. I bought a shit ton of 12-foot 2x4s, 7/16 OSB, and I have been building 16 on center walls, standing them up, attaching them in between each of the vertical posts that makes up the pole style building, and completely furnishing out the interior walls. That has not been an easy task, especially by myself. I have had a little bit of help along the way, but 90-something% has just been me. So yeah, it's tedious because I'm working with this insulation, and then that's like the first step. Second step is obviously figuring out all the measurements for my wall. First section I think was like 7 studs, 16 on center. Next one I think was like 9, and then this last one was like 7. So you know, nothing too crazy, but still just trying to make everything as nice as possible, especially since it's gonna be on camera and you guys are gonna see it with good lighting. I wanna make sure that I do a damn good job. So it's straight as hell. I used a piece of string because I don't have a laser. So yeah, it's straight and it looks great. So I'm gonna show you what I've done so far. Then we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do today. All right, so there you guys have it. No more posts running there, and then back here, we just have nice, clean, straight wall. Floor to ceiling. As you can see, there's those high and low spots in the concrete, but we will resolve those eventually. Yeah, this just looks freaking awesome. Very happy with how it turned out. I'm stoked on how straight I was able to get the wall running down. Today, my goal is to tackle this back wall to here. That way I have the corner that is, you know, on camera all furnished up here. And then I'm hoping that Dan can help me get the ceiling all done, and I can get the lights back in. Then I can have the girlfriend help me paint this stuff up. And within a couple of weeks, this area is all going to just be dialed for being on camera. And then obviously I will be working on from there through underneath the loft area and then along the other side with the boat. But you know, my main goal is obviously going to be getting this whole section done first. That way I have a nice clean area to film other stuff with you guys, because I do have more 24 Road Glide installs, tons of stuff that we're gonna do to the dyna, so on and so forth. So that is kind of the future goals for the walls and the ceiling. I do want to paint them. I'm not sure what color I'm gonna paint them yet, so you're gonna have to stay tuned to figure out that with me. As well as the back wall, I would love to furnish out with an accent. So I think something like cedar running horizontally across would just look incredible. Kind of give it a nice rich tone in here. So yeah, I don't know, we'll just have to see what I end up with for that. Let's get into prepping out this back section. I gotta make sure the concrete is workable. I've had to chip some of it up in some places to be able to have a nice flat and have all the seams of all the 7/16 OSB matching. So I need to make sure that I've got that dialed. I want to dial in the insulation, spray foam any gaps, stuff like that. I do not need to pull it out and inset it in between like you'll see in the pictures that I had done because this wall is gonna be a little bit further out since I do have extra studding and stuff for the loft. So I wanna have all that hidden as well. So lose a couple of square inches or feet of overall floor space doing it this way, but it's gonna look the best. It's just gonna be 4 clean, smooth walls. So yeah, we're gonna prep that stuff out and I'll probably time lapse some of it, talk to you guys about some of it, show you the hardships along the way with it. And once it's all prepped out, we'll build a wall, hopefully be able to stand it up, and we'll just see how far we get today. All right, so as you guys can see, got it cleaned up back here a little bit. I did bust out a little bit of the concrete just along this back wall where it was especially built up next to that post and that post. Really a dirty job, a lot of dust flying, so I did not film that. But yeah, I got it all swept up and out of the way now. I've got my first board cut here. This will be the base for the wall. Make sure that it fits perfectly. And it does. And we're gonna wanna make sure that we have it somewhat level. As you guys can see, we're working with what we've got in terms of the floor. Basically, this is gonna be so well insulated behind these walls that when I have the skim coat poured, the insulation is basically the form. So the concrete will just go up to it and it'll stop, and that'll be that. I'll probably end up also putting like some paper sheeting along the bottom of all of this OSB. That way, when the cement goes up to it, then I can rip it out, the paper, and you won't see any of that. I'll still be able to remove any of these OSB sheets if I need to, and it'll be nicely tucked below the skim coat, so it'll look really clean. So yeah, future plans. So next step is gonna be measuring my ceiling height, make sure it's pretty much gonna be the same all the way across, that way I know what I'm working with. When I was doing this sidewall, obviously with the roof slant, I had to calculate for that and then angle cut all of my studs and all that. So with this being flat, back wall should be really nice and easy in that aspect. All right, so we're gonna grab a few beams. We're gonna measure them out, cut them all to 11 foot, 4 inches. These are gonna end up being our 16 on center studs. If I haven't already explained, 16 on center means every 16 inches center of those studs, that's where you're gonna land. There's also like 24 on center and whatever anybody else comes up with. Honestly, one of the biggest challenges with this is just shuffling things around to make room. Like putting up this wall, once we build it, I mean, we have to be able to lay out 11 foot 4 plus 1.5 inches on each end. So 11 foot 7, and also 13 foot something wide. So I'm gonna have to clear everything out of this section after I get all these chopped up, just so I can build it and then stand it up and then I have to walk it all the way over. So it's just kind of a pain. Okay, so now that we have all of our studs cut to 11 foot 4 inches, I've got our bottom board marked out every 16 inches. That's where each stud's gonna land. I'm just gonna flip it over and pre-screw it. That way, once I lay this down, I can just butt all these right up to it, screw them in, and put a top piece on, I got a wall. Okay, now I've got to clean this section up so that I can build a wall. All right, I know it's not cleaned up, but it's enough room. So we're gonna grab all this lumber, set it all out, screw it all together, stand it up, take a look at it, and then we'll be able to test fit it, but really I should just spray foam all the cracks and then put it up because I know it's gonna be good, right? Whew. That's heavy. Yeah, okay. I gotta move you guys and keep sliding this thing down. All right, well, I am not cold anymore. Whew. Okay, so as soon as I got this wall over here, I realized I made a mistake. I forgot to account for this guy here. I can't obviously just run a flat stud there. It's gonna be 2 pieces. I measured it twice before I make my cut. So I'm going to be cutting here and there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, doesn't matter anyways. Gonna cut those out. That way it butts into that. And then I need to switch gears, make sure that I've got my wire run. Gonna have to have a certified electrician come in and run that. But gotta run that, and then I need to spray foam all this insulation. And then we're ready to put this wall in. Okay, we've got electricity run. Big thanks to the electrician for swinging by with that. He's got it run. We got outlets all down the wall now. Boom, boom. One here. Wiring running over to our other outlet there, which will then tie right back into the circuit that already exists. And I'm also gonna end up running some more, obviously on the other side of the shop, but that will be down the road. We've got one run up here. I don't know whether I'll have a cool LED sign or a TV. I've also got one run up top over there as well. Worst comes to worst, I put something over the top of it. You never know it's there, but it's nice to have power behind stuff like that, like TVs and signs. That way you don't see all the wires hanging. So just figured, why not? So we got that, and all we need to do now is spray foam all of these gaps up. Probably, again, not gonna show you that. I probably won't even time lapse it. You guys can probably guess what that looks like. I'll show you when it's done. All right, you guys, as you can see, we have all of the spray foam stuff done. I've cut it all down flush so that it's not interfering with any of my studs, stopping me from getting the wall all the way in to where I want it. We're good to try to fit the wall in. Like I said, I don't think that I'm gonna be able to get it around the corner without hitting the platform up there and then getting it around the fire. I think I'm gonna end up having to try to move the workbench, and I'm barely able to even scoot it. So that would mean I have to move the dyna, the motorcycle lift, and yeah. So we're gonna see how far I can get it. Yes.
What do you want me to do?
Exactly what you're doing, honey. You're helping stabilize it. Appreciate it. Move this.
What if we just shimmy?
Yeah, that works too.
Today?
This?
Oh, you recorded doing this?
Yeah, that's what the video is going to be. Is like, oh my gosh, shop upgrades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on it.
How?
Because it's going right now.
Oh, I'm on it right now? In my row?
All right, couple of 7/16 OSB shims. Just going to go ahead and slam them right in here. And then we're gonna be able to screw directly into our ceiling. Rock solid now. So we have our outlet down here we need to mount up, and then we have one up higher that is going to be either for like a cool like LED sign or a TV. I don't know how we're going to handle that yet. I have no clue what I'm going to do for the layout. I've been racking my brain over it, and if I want a couch in here, and you know, how would that all be? Do I want the workbench here still? Do I want it over there? But if I put it over there, then I'm under the loft area. But I don't want to put the couch over there because I want it to be next to the fire. Do I want it to go this way, this way? So believe me, I have a vision. I know like some key components that I want to be a part of this remodel, but I don't know what all it's going to look like beyond that. So it's gonna be a surprise for all of us. But I'm doing my due diligence, and when I originally had somebody wire the shop, they didn't wire a ton of outlets, and so now we're having a ton wired in by somebody. So anyways, 44 to 48 inches is code for a outlet or a switch box. I've been going like 47-ish. Floor again's not level, so I want to make sure that once I skim coat it, it is still up to that 44-inch minimum. Now the nice thing about this is if you were to just like royally screw up your measurements and you have a decently sized gap, you don't need to start fresh with a new piece of wood. They make different sized face plates, so you can actually flex how well you fit your cut or how bad it was. So no need to worry too much about that. All right, so I drill all 4 corners. These outlet boxes are going to be countersunk when I put cedar on top. Okay, well, I know how we'll deal with that. I will pull these back out, remove the nails, and I will let the outlet box free float in the OSB here. And then when I decide to do the sheeting and I know exactly how thick it's gonna be, I will just screw the outlet box into the 2x4 back here. So that'll work perfect. Glad I caught that. Thanks, guys. I definitely wouldn't want to do a nice like finished out wall with a nice, you know, cedar or something like that and then have the outlets be countersunk into that. I want them to be flush. So I love it when I don't screw up. All right, I am so excited for how this is looking. It makes you just want to keep going. This is how I get, and I will be at this all night. But got a girlfriend inside. I have not eaten. I'm calling it. We are at a really good place here where tomorrow it's just slamming sheets. Like, I think I have one more outlet that I'm gonna add right there. And then we'll have to do the same thing we did with this one for the TV outlet up there. Anyways, that's a tomorrow issue. I'll see you guys then. Good morning, you guys. We are back and ready to get some more work done. Got a good night's sleep. Dan will be out later today. He's got to help his mom with some stuff this morning. So my goal is to sheet out this wall, and I need to get a 2x4 10-footer for a stud back there so that I can finish out that section. And then I have a couple of 7/16 sheets to lay in the front around the door. And then half the shop is done. All the way around to the best of my ability. Solid walls, good finish look. And from there, my goal is going to be probably to paint. I could, you know, do the ceiling stuff instead, but realistically, I want to get this section back to normalcy as quickly as possible. That way I can film other things with you guys. And then obviously bring you guys along as I do more shop work and stuff like that, if that's something you guys are interested in. But I just really want to get this section, this half, I should say, the shop, just all done as quickly as possible. And obviously quality. Just, you know, so I can get back to being ready to film whenever I have something good to share with you guys. So that's my goal. Hopefully we can lay some paint today, maybe later today. I could see myself about halfway through the day being done with sheeting and all that stuff, and then needing to go to the store to get that 10-foot 2x4 and paint. So we'll see. It'd be really cool to lay some paint down today, and then the workbench can come back in its home. Not that that's gonna be its forever home, because like I said, I don't know what the layout is gonna be final product, but at least it'd be back out of the way, and then I have room to kind of put everything away and clean everything up. So that is the plan. Let's get cranking. All right, you guys, as you can see, we have those two sections totally done, and we're working on this one. I've already got it cut out and mocked up, but it needs to come back out because, as you guys recall, I need to spray foam that. So it's time to go to the store, get some spray foam, get a couple of studs so that I can finish out that section there. Then I need to research paint. Probably a primer. I know OSB absorbs paint a lot more than your standard like plywood would, so you end up needing a lot more. So I'll probably be looking for like a 5-gallon bucket of that stuff. I'll give you guys a remote start with the truck, because who doesn't love just awesome truck noises? All right, we have everything that we need and more. Picked up spray foam, picked up that 12-foot 2x4, and also ended up buying outlets. That was something that was gonna need to happen at some point. Unfortunately, it is a painful purchase because it doesn't seem that exciting and it is very expensive. If you wanna do stuff to code in a shop, every outlet is supposed to be GFCI. I allegedly cut a slight corner and I'm not gonna be using a GFCI outlet for the top ones, which will be obviously just either like a TV or a sign, like an LED sign or something like that. GFCI outlets are pretty important. You should use them, especially when it comes to using, most people when they have limited outlets, they'll plug in like extension cords or extension cord reels, stuff like that. When you start using stuff like that, it's a good idea to always have a GFCI outlet. So I understand their purpose. But I did, on those top ones, allegedly not use a GFCI outlet just to save a little bit, because it's like $30 for one versus like $4 for one. So, do the math once you're doing almost 10 outlets. Also, I got, I forget what brand it is, but it's everybody uses it for OSB. It's the good stuff, oil-based primer. We'll talk more about that, but yeah, that's what we got. All right, no clue if I'm in frame. Looks like I am. So, last piece right here. Look at that. Like a glove. Doesn't even need any screws. All right, you guys, as you see, Dan has showed up, killed the Dyna, and helped me knock out these walls. This back wall is done. This side wall is almost done. I keep saying it's done, but we do have this little section up here, but it's kind of like off my mental radar because this is that section that I was most concerned about getting completely wrapped up so that I can get primer down and get some sort of normalcy back as quickly as possible. I think we're gonna appreciate our work for a little bit, and then maybe I'll go grab some primer and probably lay some down tonight, just because it is a oil-based primer and it takes like 24 hours to dry. As I said, OSB absorbs paint a lot more than a plywood, so that's next for us. Cinematic paints. So, since Dan's got me here, we are using Zinsser paint. This stuff is highly recommended for OSB and stuff like that. It is oil-based primer. Really good stuff. Kills original, works good as well. Holy crap, it's raining. So yeah, Dan and I are gonna start priming this back wall. Okay, just like that, one coat of primer is done. It looks kind of the same as before, but also completely different. We got all those beams gone. The wall is extremely straight. Like I said, I used string to make sure that it was straight as I could get it. I mean, I'm already super stoked with how it looks, but this is not the final color. This is just one coat of primer. This helps with bleed through, especially with OSB. You really need to do something like this. It's oil-based primer. It's already dry, which is nice. It's thick too, so it fills in the low spots of OSB really well. As you can see, it's really not that like strandy looking. Our local lumber yard is really good, a lot better than like Home Depot and Lowe's is. So we made a big mess, hands are dirty, we're tired. We're gonna get some food and some drinks over at the bar, local watering hole, and call it a night. Tomorrow's Thursday. I wanna get this video out for you guys on Thursday, so tomorrow morning, I'll give you guys the story about one of my worst injuries that occurred here in the shop, show you those gruesome pictures, give you an outro, and you guys will have to stay tuned for the next part of this apparently now series of Pimp My Garage. So I'll catch you guys in the morning. All right, we're back. It is Thursday. Hopefully I can get this video out to you guys today. So we gotta wrap this up. I gotta give you guys the gory story and kick you out. So take you over to where it happened and give you guys the turn of events. All right, so I was about right here up on the roof working on replacing all of the beams on this rear section of the carport because they unfortunately had started to rot a little bit due to the previous roofing material. The nails have adhesive underneath and that had failed over time. So that's all been addressed and changed out. But I was on like I think it was on the last beam, I really do. My folks were over and I had all the metal bracketry already pre-nailed in with one nail on each side. So I had everything kind of fitted out properly. And I forgot myself as I was kind of talking to my dad and just like I had a groove going. I'd been working for like 10 hours for like 5 days straight on it. And yeah, I got a little bit just comfortable, I guess you could say. And you got to remember to never get comfortable on roofs and stuff like that. And so when I stepped on that beam that only had one nail on each side with that bracket, the beam and bracket came dislodged from the other beam that it was attached to, and it dropped and I fell through the roof, and there was the metal sheeting from the roofing material that was leaned up against the wall here, and I fell down and I was wearing my steel toe, high top boots, and my first like initial thought was like, holy crap, I just fell 12 feet from the roof down to the ground and my feet feel fine. And right as all of that instantly like kind of registers, my hand starts to get wet and my dad yells hospital. And it was all just, it happened, I mean, in a split second. And I look down and my whole hand is red and blood is just squirting out of my arm. Like there was like blood all over the floor here. Ended up quick tourniquet, getting rushed to town and had the ambulance meet me there because it was quicker. They rushed me to the trauma center and I got a lot of stitches. I ended up cutting my arm from my elbow to my wrist and cutting through tendons, muscle. You can pretty much see the bone at this section here. And I lost all the feeling from my elbow to the tip of my pinky. They ended up doing a nerve block on me while I was in the hospital and checked what I'd lost. Didn't lose any mobility or any motion or anything like that, but I do not feel any of this whole bottom section. And if I actually like do a rub across it, it gives me this like nasty, gnarly nails on chalkboard kind of like tingling sensation. So that is that. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of pictures of it. Yeah, so don't ever get comfortable on a roof. Take your time. You can get hurt, even though you're invincible like me. And now it's something that I have to deal with for the rest of my life. You know, when I was younger, I used to break bones and stuff like that often with sports, and it was never really a problem because you don't see it. It hurts like hell for a few weeks, and then it's just never a thing again, right? But now that I'm over 30, everything hurts. Like everything that didn't matter and it just went away, it's back. So just like they say. So if you're younger than me, trust me, it will happen to you. Take care of yourself. If you're older than me, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and welcome me to the club because I'm here now. So that is the story of how the shop royally picked me up, and that honestly is one of the driving factors behind me wanting to make the shop really nice now. It's not much, it's not huge, it's not fancy, but I want to make what happened to me worth it in the end, and just make this place just incredibly worth the, you know, the pain and suffering, right? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my little side note story and stuck it out till the end. This is only part one, obviously, of this process. After this weekend, I'm gonna get back to work in here, get some more primer in, get the rest of that sheeting over there done. I still need to sheet the roof with Dan, or I should say the ceiling. Yeah, and then paint and figure out what we're gonna do for the accent wall. Gotta put outlets in, and then obviously continue on with that. So, whole lot more to come. Drop some comments of ideas that you guys have for you know, a layout, because honestly, like, I have writer's block when it comes to interior design. Like, I just can't do it. Like, I know what I like and what I don't, and I do have some like non-negotiable, you know, bullet items of what I want, but seeing it go together, that's where I kind of struggle. So yeah, help me out with that. I'd appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. You guys are part of the reason that I am going through all this work and making it nicer, and I hope that you guys enjoy what is to come with the channel and with the new set. So thank you again. Please give the video a thumbs up, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Can't wait to see where this shop build goes and continue building the channel with you guys. Appreciate you. Catch you in my next off week.